welcome. I am Terry Finnegan Lynch, and welcome to Strike a Match. Delighted to be partnering with SM Enlightenment Radio in this podcast about positivity. Like, hi, how beautiful is it to consider what we can do better in our lives? I am a certified health and life coach. I love that my practice serves families. I believe that how we change this world is to help families become anchored in their wellness and to help them overcome the struggle that's going on in their lives. And I'm so very grateful to the great Doc P for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share that taking action, striking a match, a small flicker of light could be all you need to change your life. I love this opportunity. And today's my dad's birthday, so I am all dressed up because even though I can't see him, COVID won't let me, I am celebrating the fact that it is my dad's 85th birthday. So let's start with a positive tip for a better life, which you can find on SM Enlightenment Radio. But what's wonderful here is we're adding a little bit of video to the positive tip, and I truly hope you enjoy this one.
Positive tips for a better life with Terry Finnegan Lynch.
Could you consider that how people love, value, and respect you is a direct reflection of how you love, value, and respect yourself? You see, everything begins with me. I'm a health and life coach, and these are Terry's positive tips for a better life.
WSME.
Ooh, everything begins with me. That's quite a burden. But the truth of the matter is, if I don't love myself, I authentically really don't love others. If I don't respect myself, I cannot offer respect to others. So these intrinsic wants in relationships to extend to others are truly only authentic if they're true for us personally. And that's the work, right? Because, we develop these stories in our lives that are include some compromise and tragedy and, misinformation. And we can't help but transfer that towards others. So everything begins with me. And as a family life coach, what I really care about for the parents who have children that are struggling is what is your unmet struggle? What is the silence that has been applied to your story that we just kind of bury and we don't really deal with it, and we end up not being able to fully help our kids because we're carrying some baggage that doesn't fit in the overhead compartment. So personally, I was raised in a family where my mom was a chronic alcoholic most of my life, and my dad was an extraordinary workaholic. He made such a footprint in this world, but basically wasn't really home for me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do better in being a parent. And I married a very angry man. I made some mistakes. We ended up in a violent home full of addiction. And if you compared how I grew up and what I created for my children, I didn't do a whole lot better at all. As a matter of fact, it was not anything that I would have chosen if I had to choose between the two. So how did it begin with me? Well, there were some crises in my teenage years that I didn't get help with. My mom didn't get her help. My dad didn't get his help. And so we were a family working to do our very, very best. And we all fell short. And then it was passed on to the next generation. So everything begins with me. All healing is not about my child that's struggling. Healing must begin with me to sponsor the healing that I want for my kids. And that's my message as a family life coach, is that we need not be afraid. We need not leave in disguise our troubles. We really want to come in and embrace them, figure them out. And wow, if I do that, I will accelerate the health and wellness of my children. So that's the invitation that I offer. So what I want to present next is a fun fact, and I've shifted from the HuffPost to a new resource. This one is the INLP, time-tested and research benefits of life coaching. And the one I'd like to offer today is, here we go. So this organization speaks about how minimizing negative thoughts and embracing your strengths can help you start overcoming fears that have been restricting your ability to achieve your dreams. So this is a fun fact from the INLP company, that this is of added value of what coaching brings to the table. So correspondingly is, here are these two birds in a tree, and their nature is to fly. But this one bird doesn't believe. He has negative thoughts, and so he needs a parachute. But his buddy knows that he doesn't. So when we're in this experience of our lives where we don't trust our own instincts, a life coach, because certainly your partner, your friends, your parents haven't been able to take that parachute off your back because they're too close to the parachute. And so a life coach will help you minimize your negative thoughts, allow you to embrace your strengths, overcome fears, and then bring that ability to achieve your dreams into place. So again, why do I bring these fun facts to this show is because you don't have to trust me. You can go out there and find out where the truth lies in how effective life coaching models can be. And there's lots of different models out there. I'm a transformational life coach, and my most significant attribute is that I change habits. And so imagine if you're a bird in the tree and you won't fly without a parachute. That is a limiting belief. And coaches, we work on those because you inherited them. They came from years of information in our early development that says I can't, or it's not safe, or what if something goes wrong. And so the practice that the awareness that we're trying to create today, what I want you to identify with, and obviously you're not a bird who's going to wear a parachute, but are there places in your life where you just hold back, that you don't trust your instincts, that there's this messaging that says it's not going to work for me? We understand that. We want to help you with that. And the risk of needing a parachute when you're a bird is you're not teaching your children how to fly. You're teaching your children that they need a parachute too, even if they don't believe that they do. So all of this, I always emphasize, is without judgment. The most beautiful thing about life coaching is that we never judge where you are or how you got here. All we want to do is introduce new ideas. And so I'm going to toss this now to our comedy corner. So perspective is everything. So here's this poor toothbrush saying, sometimes I feel I have the worst job in the world. And his companion in the bathroom says, yeah, right. Perspective is everything. So what if your perspective is that you're not safe without the parachute? Perspective is everything. And honestly, we deserve to fly. We deserve to be free. We deserve to be in abundance. What's happening when we don't trust our instincts, when we are not living into our true self, is that we're now adapting a mindset of scarcity. And that is so dangerous. I mean, this is easy to see how ridiculous this is. Look how much our world turned upside down when we started to run out of toilet paper. I mean, really? Honestly, it was insane that you couldn't find toilet paper. But, we didn't care about our teeth. We were just way too afraid that we would be empty-handed at the toilet. So scarcity is, you can look at that cartoon and say, well, that's really silly. The toothbrush doesn't have the worst job. I do. And then we go and we hoard toilet paper in ridiculous amounts. I mean, we literally did this. But what I want to talk about in scarcity and abundance, which is literally what I was trained in, one of the very, very, very first lessons was that my responsibility as a coach is to shift people from scarcity to abundance, because we don't even know that we live there. So obviously, empty shelves everywhere of toilet paper is ridiculous and obvious and silly. But what about the underlying message of scarcity that a lot of us live in? It's very functional. And so I have a few slides that I actually stole from other people, and I just want to talk about them because the scarcity that I work with in my clients and in families is not the extreme sense of scarcity. I'm not talking about the hoarders. I'm really talking about the subtle influence that's the belief scarcity creates for us. So I'm going to bring up this orange background one. So here's scarcity mindset on the left and abundant mindset on the right. So if you win, I lose. So these are really extreme responses to the scarcity mindset. I don't believe we operate there. I think we're much more subtle. So if you win, I lose, that's easy to really not truly believe in, even if you're in scarcity. But stingy with knowledge, contracts, and compassion, let me talk about that one. So what I believe about that is that a person who's stingy with knowledge actually is a person who, in scarcity, listens way more than they share. Maybe you're like, what are you talking about? Listening is a quality. Over talking is rude. But listening more than sharing is keeping stingy with the knowledge of who I am. So a person that has a scarcity mindset is not going to share about themselves as much as they'll let you, because then you're holding the responsibility of providing the information in the relationship, and they don't have to. So yes, there is a great quality in listening. I should do better at that sometimes. But I know when I'm in a relationship and someone isn't sharing about what's going on in their life, I am left wanting, longing. And the scarcity mindset says it's not safe for you to know that much about me. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to listen. And then I'll look good, but I'm not involved in the conversation. I'm not sharing. And then the second piece, the contracts, means that I can't commit. And the compassion that's missing, that's in scarcity model, is that I run and hide. So this statement is true that they're stingy with knowledge, contracts, and compassion. But the way I see it as a coach is that this person listens more than they share, can't commit to letting you know who they are, and kind of run and hide. Does that sound like you? once in a while? Are you at your job and you don't offer an idea? Are you at the dining room table and you let everybody else speak? You're hurting and you don't say something? You're actually operating from scarcity. So then the next one says that they're pessimistic about the future and tough times are ahead. And I know that's another extreme, but the person that is safe in scarcity will listen to the news all the time, over and over and over again, all this terrible news. And what happens in that information gathering is that they're not feeling their scarcity, their heartache, as being as bad, because look at all this terrible stuff. So again, it's another way to hide. So the next one says that they're entitled, cautious, and fearful. That's not the language I use. I think that people who have a scarcity mindset feel righteous in protecting their safe zone. I'm not righteous. I am just protecting myself. They're cautious and fearful. It's understandable. You don't want to reveal too much about yourself. Then the next one here on this list is hoarding things. And again, I don't agree with the language, but what I think does happen in scarcity is that people get very, very attached to stuff, whether it be attached to money or safety or family. The hoarding becomes not that I have stacks of newspapers in my living room, but that I want to keep things very close and controlled. And the last one that says they think they have all the answers, I don't agree with that language, but what I do believe is that this person needs to have all the answers so that they don't have to ask the questions. Again, safety. So what scarcity is really about is not enough. I'm not enough. And it's based in 5 fears. They are fearful of other people's opinions. Ooh, there's a close one, right? Fear of losing what I have. I'm holding tight to that. Fear of not getting what I want, not risking trying. Fear of success and fear of failure. And those 5 fears actually speak to everything that we are afraid of. So on the other side is abundance. So I'm going to go over to this blue slide, and this one switches the sides of which scarcity and abundance are on, and it's kind of a small print. But what I want you to know that we're never always going to be in this mindfulness of abundance. But when we are on a mindset of scarcity, we're not showing up in this world. And so on this one, I just want to say that I think the most important one here, again, jealous of other people, the one in the middle, I believe that's really not about truly being jealous, but being afraid of other people's opinions, of not being successful, of fear of failure. So the struggle with scarcity is that it's fear-based, but it's not just where we come in and go out. It's really more that we're there all the time in this kind of static size experience. It's not like a bullhorn. It's just always kind of there. And what I believe is that we deserve more than that, and that a life coach can truly help you see where this is playing out in your life, and then safely invite you into a space that is more revealing of how to shift into abundance. We don't just automatically go, oh, look, I'm going to be abundant. I'm just going to make a gratitude list and I can do it fine. We can, but without really changing our programming so that those 2 experiences of the woman in the garden and the woman in the field, they become natural. They are where we want to go. They're the places that are easy to find. And life coaching is about that. And if you don't have that as a parent, neither will your children. And this is why I really feel that this is a valuable experience, that we, in short time working together, can realign some of the misinformation that you have about your journey and allow you to be in a more abundant place. So what is abundance? Abundance is a practice, but it's also the experience of stepping into it. So there's this journaling calendar that I have that I stole from somebody, and that's the good news about things online. But if you took a quick look at this, what this is doing is inviting you to create a month worth of abundant mindset shifts, and listing 3 things that you're grateful for. How do your friends and family feel about money? Do you often feel envious of others? So this calendar, so to speak, is one way of experiencing abundance. And it will make you more aware. What I do believe is that we need to change our habits. Our habits are rooted in our programming, identity, and beliefs, and that takes a little bit more support. So I invite you to consider that, coaching allows us to see our negativity, figure out where it came from, shift it into a more positive place. It also allows us to do this in the company of an advocate, someone who really cares about who you are and what you are looking for. And then in my case, as a family life coach, you get to give that to your kids. So thanks for being here on this first half of our show. It is time for a commercial break. I love SM Enlightenment Radio. Please listen in. The music is amazing. The podcasts are brilliant. And come see our sponsors. Be right back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break and the advertisements. Please allow our sponsors to have an impact in your life as much as the show is going to have. This is my favorite part of the show. I love to obviously talk about, fun facts and coaching models and stuff. But the real point here is to introduce you to a variety of coaches to see and experience how different we all are and how wonderful the coaching model can be. And, I talk about rapport. Rapport is why we connect with people. We have a conversation, we have a virtual coffee chat, and we find out, is this someone that I can relate to? So I'm delighted to bring Lesa Frye onto the show because she and I have gone to school together, and she is actually my coaching partner. So every Wednesday, Lesa and I sit and we process, who are we as coaches, and what are we doing for our clients, and what are we doing for each other to support that, because that's what this is all about. And she's wonderful. She comes from the real estate industry, and she has created this coaching model, which is Embrace Your Beautiful Life. And she really, truly wants entrepreneurs and business people to ask themselves, are you doing what you want in your life? Is there something more? And let me help you create it, find it, land in it. And she is my guest today, and she's my pal. And welcome, Lesa.
Thank you so much, Terry. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. Again, I feel like we're old pals because we meet every Wednesday. So
We do. We do.
just
We meet
another conversation.
just another conversation. And it's kind of funny though, because when I'm with you, I'm kind of like we support each other, right? So
Definitely.
I actually don't know a whole ton about your business model because we're really kind of working inside of that.
Right.
So I'd love to hear like how officially, because I know a little bit, but the audience doesn't know anything. How
Right.
did you come to coaching? How is this vision working for you? Who do you serve and why?
Great. So if you had asked me 5 years ago if I thought I would be a coach, no. As a matter of fact, I had a friend mention to me in real estate, she's like, you should be a coach. You should coach other realtors. And I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
But the way that I happened into coaching, and I am a spiritual person, and so I truly believe that I was called by God to do this. It started with me working within a network marketing company in the health and wellness industry. And I had a particular product and I was helping people to lose weight.
Okay.
And what I found, and the reason that I even did it was because I had lost weight myself with the product.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I wanted to share it with other people.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
So I was doing that. But what I noticed was people would get on the product, they would lose the weight, and then they would stop. And I said, there's got to be something a little bit more that I can do for people. And I was praying for clarity and how I could help and what else I could do. And literally in the middle of the night, Terry, I think it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I got what I call the God whisper. And literally what I heard him say was, become a health coach. And I honestly did not even know there was such a thing. So I got up and I Googled it and found that there was such a thing. And I also, Health Coach Institute came up. So the next morning I registered and
The next day.
Yeah, the next day, literally. And so I went through, that program, the health coaching, and it has to do with habit change. That's where everything stems from. But as I got into it, I realized it wasn't just the health coaching part, not the physical weight loss part.
Right.
It was more of the emotional health portion that I was looking at. So I went on and, obtained my life coaching certification. And then just like you, got the mastery coaching certification, the transformational coaching certification. And initially, Terry, as you know, I did start out coaching real estate agents and helping them to jumpstart their businesses and just set them up for success. And even in doing that, I realized there's more. There's more to it than just this is how you write a contract, this is how you attract the clients. It's the mindset behind that. And so that's the coaching that I'm doing today. And as you know, my motto is do what you love what you do, and be authentically you.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I want to remind you. So we were in California for a retreat.
I remember. I was sitting on a table because there were no chairs.
You were sitting on this enormous table in the hallway of this conference area. And I had not yet had my hip replaced, so I couldn't get up on the table with you. But I'm like, can I sit with you?
Yeah.
And, you gave me your card and, we sat for a brief minute. And then, later on, we were put into the same mastery group, right?
Yes.
And then we became comrades in the coaching journey.
Yes.
And so why I even bring that up is that, there's a footprint. So if you're here today and you're listening to this show, you're here for a reason. I walked down the hallway while you were sitting on that table and I sat next to you. And then shortly after that, we were partners. And shortly after that, we became coworkers. And now we're like talking to each other every week. Yes. And we've helped each other become better coaches and better businesswomen because of that. So that's the rapport thing that I really want to encourage people to trust. That if you're here in this conversation today, there's a reason for it. And we invite you to ask, what do you want? And as your logo speaks about is, abundance and, yes. Embrace your beautiful life. And, the beginning of the show, I always try to relate that stuff to yes. what the expertise is of my guest, my co-host. And so tell me about who you serve and how that works for you and what they experience.
Great. So yes, I work with high achieving women who are feeling bored and stuck in their jobs. And so what I help them do is to discover what their true passion is, what lights their soul on fire. The striker match is absolutely perfect, by the way. And I help them to turn that into their career. Mm-hmm. So, that could be finding another job. It could be taking on a different perspective of the position that you're already in, which you talked a bit about perspective. Mm-hmm. Or it could be starting your own business, because I've been through the journey myself a couple of times. I started out in corporate America and I had reached the ceiling, was starting to feel like I wasn't being challenged enough, like there was just more that I could do. And I wanted to control my income. I wanted for it to be flexible. I could control my schedule because my kids were 2 and 6 at the time. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be there for them. And then thirdly, I think, what did I say? Income, being there for my kids, so flexibility, and then also something that I love to do. Yeah. And so that's how I went from corporate America to real estate. Mm-hmm. And I've been a real estate agent for 29 years now. So you can say
so that. So kids aren't 4 and 6.
Like, I'm dating myself, but it's all good.
It's all good. We're looking pretty good at whatever decade we're in, right?
Yeah, but I would say about 5 years ago, I was starting to get that same angst, that same feeling like there's more that you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And knowing that, yes, I do have a wealth of knowledge in real estate and about building a business. So yes, I want to be able to share that with others. And also just, it's so important. Life is too short. It's so important to be loving the work that you're doing, to be doing something that matters to you, that makes an impact. And that's how I got into coaching. That was what I feel is my calling at this point. And that's what I want to help other women to do.
I love it. It's truthfully the part of our life that is our career is pretty significant.
Yes.
Right? And, how we do one thing is how we do everything. Right. Yes. So if we really do find our space that we are fulfilled and challenged and rewarded in our career, then it's going to dribble down and into the other parts of our lives that are important as well. So I start with families, you start with career. It doesn't, they're both going to be affected by the shift that occurs in either focus, right?
Exactly. Because you think about it, it's, when you're happy in your family life, you're going to be doing better work.
Right.
And when you're happy in your work, you're available and present for your family.
Yeah.
So definitely, both.
And it really is, what is the pressure point? What is the pain body? What is the moment that defines your greatest struggle? and what, especially since we're trained in habit change and programming, identity, and beliefs, we're both working from the same model. You have different programs than I do, but we're still trained in this beautiful, beautiful integrated transformational coaching model that pretty powerful stuff.
Definitely.
So tell me, and I ask this of every coach that visits, and my co-host, is what do you think is the number one reason your audience resists and says no? What do you find is their element of no?
So on the surface, the objection is, I don't have the money. Okay.
We talk about this weekly, actually.
Yes.
That's your number one feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we dig into that, though, we understand that it's never truly about the money, because the reality is we find a way to do whatever it is we want to do.
For sure.
And so the real no comes from the thought or the belief that they can't or won't get the result that they're looking for. So it has to do with that belief in themselves that it's possible to have that joy, to actually find work that is fulfilling to them, to actually take that leap of faith to follow their heart's desire. So that's where the real no is.
Yeah, to take off the parachute.
Yes, exactly. How appropriate was that?
Wasn't that cute?
Yes.
But honestly, what I love about what we do is we're not bad people because we can't take a leap of faith. We're
human.
We're not confident that we can take that chance that we will fly and not break every bone in our body, because then how do we show up for work?
Exactly.
What if the parachute doesn't open?
Right.
How do you help people appreciate that that's their true resistance, and for the money question to be set aside and to actually address the believability, or however you would describe that? How do you help people find that truth?
So a lot of times what I do, Terry, is I take them back to a time in their lives where they perhaps were scared about something or uncertain about something, and where it worked out for them. So where have you had success? And where were you in the beginning of that journey? 9 times out of 10, you were a little scared when you started there as well. But look at what you've accomplished. And particularly with my audience, they're high achieving women already.
Yeah, right.
They've had tons of success in their lives. And so I just show them this time is no different than that time.
It may be too that this time is more about them.
Yes, them being the priority.
Than making an income or providing for their family.
Providing for the family, or putting other people first, because that is a lot of us as women in particular.
Yeah.
We're busy taking care of everyone else. That's what we do.
Talked about that earlier in the show too, so in the clients that you have worked with, what have they found to be, the unexpected result? We don't spend this kind of money without expecting some kind of improvement and reward and golden result, as we say. But
yes,
describe it. What are these gals finding?
So what they're finding is both and.
Okay.
So, and what I mean by that is I can be there for my family. I can provide. I can do an amazing job at work, and I can be fulfilled and have joy in all of that. it's not either or.
Yeah.
It's both and.
That's so. I loved when we were first introduced to that both and principle, and when Eric Nooner called us heart warriors.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, I do. I remember that. Yes.
I remember like that. This is about love. This is about being the space that people can come in and love themselves.
Yes.
And love others, and have that be the drive behind what we all do, in a way that is trusting. When love is a risk. Right?
Embracing it.
Yeah, so embracing it. So that's terrific. So what's the message that, if we have this audience here today that has come to the end of our show with us together, what's the invitation you want to put out there for women and in your audience that are potentially in the place that you can serve? What would you want to say to them?
What I would say is, it's not too late. You're not too old. It's time for you.
I love it.
You've been there for everyone else. It's time for you to find the joy, the true joy in your life.
Love it. Love it. So what kind of programs do you have? I always talk about my 12-session
Yeah. So I offer 24 sessions with my clients. They're weekly calls. And we start out by gaining clarity on exactly what it is that you want to do. And that's
the hardest part.
Yes, that is the hardest part. And then we go to, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Right. What's all the stuff in the middle that's getting in the way?
Great.
So we're working through any challenges and roadblocks that you might be having, and creating and cultivating the mindset for success. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And actually having an action plan to get you to the result that you've declared.
Well, I have to say, I'm always like, what action plan are you using when we do our co-working together on Wednesdays? I'm like, what's that? Because
I know we're like the perfect mix for each other, because you have all the creativity. Because I'm like, Terry, how do you do? And what are the words and the So
we do bounce well together, and that it truly is what this is all about. Is really finding not only the person that you're kind of compatible with as a coach, but who will bring you to where you can't go on your own. Right. So, I have the gift of word and creativity, and you are structure and systems, and, and I'm a better coach because you're in my life. And although you're not my coach, we work together as students of the process. Right.
Yes.
So there really is, an extraordinary function that the coach relationship creates in moving the needle. Absolutely. There's nothing like it, right? Amy Douglas was my guest last week, and she was our coach. Blue was our coach.
Blue was our coach.
Yes, I'm still waiting. Yeah. She has a hard stop. She doesn't do anything other than be with her family on Sundays. So she's like, will you record it another night? So I'd love to figure that out. But, we're surrounded by this mentality, this cooperation, this community. Yes. Yeah. So tell me, how do we reach you to connect?
Easiest way is my website, which is www.eyblcoaching.com. So Embrace Your Beautiful Life Coaching. I just shortened it so you didn't have to type all of that.
Smart woman.
Yeah. And then Instagram, I'm at EYBL Coaching. I'm on LinkedIn by my name, Lesa Frye, Lesa Frye. And I'm on Facebook as well with my name, Lesa Frye.
And one of the beautiful things that you're doing on Instagram are, these weekly videos that really share and, under 5-6 minutes, who I am, what I do, how it can help you, strategies, ideas. They're amazing. So please check in on LinkedIn for Lesa Frye. Frye?
Frye, F-R-Y.
I don't pronounce anybody's name right. So,
it's all good.
It can be 4 letters. It can be 20 letters. I'll get it wrong unless it's Smith. I'll get it right. My son, Brian, I call him my 99th percentile. He's a pure genius. And he has zero forgiveness for any of my misspeaks. And my son, Michael, is a red shirt personality. He's a rescuer, and he's like, just leave her alone. Brian, no, she's saying it wrong. And
those are like opposite personalities too. We get along so great. It's amazing.
So interesting, right?
Yeah.
So this was really fun.
Yes.
A little different than what we do on our Wednesdays. Happy to share your skill and your opportunity to help women up-level their careers and their journey to happiness in their professional life and how it overflows into everything else. You are my dear friend and such a good companion in this journey. I love you, and I love your nails.
Oh, thank you.
But we're getting to the other side of COVID, and we're happy, to see a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel. Definitely. But thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Terry, for the opportunity. It was truly a pleasure. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. Me too. Ditto. All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Oh, again, here I am in complete bliss. I treasure the coaches that I bring in as co-hosts because of their willingness to share their expertise and love of what coaching can do for others and for ourselves. I mean, we are very blessed to have to live in this wonderful frequency of positivity because we invite everyone else to do it too. And so that's what happens every week as I come here with SM Enlightenment Radio to present the strongest version of me to you and for a wonderful place for it to land in SM Enlightenment Media. Please come to my website and see how creative family coaching could support your family. www.masterwellnesscoaching.com. My email, is masterwellnesscoaching@gmail.com. I thought I shut that off, but apparently I did not. I'm sorry about that. So my email address is terryfinneganlynch@gmail.com. And I'm also an author. There's a book called Hope is for Always. And it's a collaboration of stories about folks who had come across great traumas and overcame them and wrote their story of hope. And it's available on Amazon. But if you'd like to write to me and talk to me about where you are with your family and your life, I'd be happy to send you a copy complimentary. So please consider, is there something that's missing in your life that you'd like help with? And do any of these coaches support what you're looking for? Because we'd love to take you on the journey of positivity. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.